So today's video is much different than normal, but a lot of you guys have been asking for different things like what I eat in a day, and so I thought I would just break it up into kind of a series. So today I just wanted to review kind of what I eat every single day for breakfast. Zach and I eat pretty much the same thing for breakfast and lunch especially. Dinner's sometimes a little bit different, but I plan to do that as well as snacks. Today, I just want to invite you guys to my kitchen, and hopefully this is just a real chill out session. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is start my cappuccino. I typically make an Americano for me every day, but I'm out of coffee. So I'm going to join Zach in having a chai. He loves chai so much. So I just need to figure out the amount of milk to chai, and I'll leave that there for getting started on this part. So I use almond milk. Sometimes Zach uses regular milk, but that's pretty rare. And my machine's all heated up. So I used to work at Starbucks, by the way, and that was back when I was like a teenager. It's just been a lifelong skill for me to be able to know my way around an espresso machine. And so I'm gonna get like half of my little cup filled. And my machine's ready, so it's just gonna be kind of loud, but because I'm going to put cold liquid in this, I'm going to bring it to 180. I'm going to let that sit, and I want to get my chai out. So, running low on this stuff. I think I've got another one down here. Yeah. If I know one thing about Zach, he always has extra chai ready. I typically fly as close to the sun as I can when it comes to trying to get to 180 versus when it's going to overflow on me. But so far, so good. If you ever get one of these espresso machines, be sure that you keep it like super clean, otherwise it can get pretty gross. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in this glass container because then I can see how much I have, and it'll also let the foam kind of settle. And then I need to figure out how much chai I need too. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with chai so much, but it's mainly black tea. And this is the stuff that we always used when I worked at Starbucks back in the day. It's this Tazo chai classic latte. Zach loves the pumpkin kind that comes out around fall. And when you open it, it looks like the seal's not on it, but it actually like breaks that seal. So we've been like really scared sometimes, like, hey, has that always been open? Oh, I need to shake it. And then it's not only black tea, but it has like a bunch of other spices in it too. So that's why I got that temperature up to like 180, because it cools off pretty good, especially if this has been in the fridge. Then now I just can pour it into here. I'm gonna keep going though. That's gonna cool off pretty quick, so I'm gonna go ahead to my breakfast. I'm just gonna make eggs. I make scrambled eggs for Zach, and so I just typically make scrambled eggs for me too because it's extra work. But I just like to use the scrambled egg routine that Gordon Ramsay uses, and it's just been a life changer for me, especially because my pan isn't particularly super non-stick, and so I'm really like his method has helped me lift off a lot of the egg from the pan. These are conversations I never thought I'd put on the internet, but here we are. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is have some butter out always. And that's one of the main things about scrambled eggs from Gordon Ramsay is he always uses butter because it's more of a velvety feel to my eggs. And I've tried like olive oil and whatnot. I know that that's probably a much better choice, but this one just is yummier. And it comes out as more of a velvety, rich flavor. All right, so I'm not gonna let my pan get too hot. I'm just gonna let the egg like mingle with the butter. And once I get started on this, I pretty much stir the whole time. So when Gordon Ramsay is like, I'll link you guys to some YouTube videos and stuff that he's posted in the past that were really good, but his method is to use about 90 seconds on the heat, and then you take it off the heat, and then you put it right back on. So like 20 seconds off the heat every 90 seconds. I'm not using math like that. I just kind of eyeball it. And at the end, he usually puts some sort of cream with it, like creme fraiche. And that is absolutely amazing. I've done that, but it's not the healthiest thing in the world to add every single day for breakfast. So I typically cook mine a little bit more than he usually does. And I think that really the method behind scrambled eggs is you want the heat to be in the egg more than you want the heat to be pushing into the pan. Like right there, it's getting a little hot. So I move it over. Put it back. Some people like to have their eggs like super wet. I just don't like that. Oh, another really helpful hint from Gordon Ramsay is don't put salt and pepper on your eggs until they are already cooked, especially the salt, because it makes your eggs just kind of runny and gray instead of more fluffy. Okay, so that's pretty much done. I'm gonna let it sit in the pan for just a second off the heat. My sourdough. So we've got this down to a science because I tried this new sourdough bread and I love it, but Zach doesn't like absolutely love it. He likes this farmhouse kind from Pepperidge Farm sourdough, but this one just seems a little bit more original, like it's slow batch. So anyways, I'm kind of a nerd about those things. I just use half a piece of toast, just kind of because I really, really want toast, but it's not like the healthiest thing in the world. And sourdough is actually an okay option if you're gonna have it. Plates. I think I'll do a small one and a bowl. Avocado. This is hit or miss. I usually like to keep my avocados in the fridge because they last longer, but then you open them up and you're always surprised. So we'll see if today is a good avocado day or not. It's a good one. Excuse me. So I always slice that up and then scoop it out with a fork. I like to use a fork because it's not as like exact as a spoon. If I was to scoop it out with a spoon, then it would get a lot more of like the ridge, like close to the skin, and I just don't like that part. That's one thing about having an older kitchen, is that it has its own quirks, and I just love it so much. The last kitchen I had was a little bit more modern. It was still kind of like maybe not up to date, but I actually quite prefer having the open shelving and like not having everything just even, just right. And just, ooh, toast is done. But anyways, I just really like to have kind of an older kitchen, older appliances, something a little bit with character. It's been really nice, and I just love this kitchen in particular because of all of the windows. I absolutely love having a window above my sink. It's just made for some really special mornings, especially because we're new to town still, and it's helped me kind of just adapt by loving little things about my house. All right, while I wait for that, I guess I can be going on the avocado. So I don't put this on my toast. I'm not a real millennial, I guess. I actually just really like honey toast, where I have a little bit of honey and butter, which I'll get to eventually. And then I also give Zach a little bit of avocado on his toast. I'm gonna need mayonnaise. Mayonnaise for Zach's sandwich. It's pretty much the same as avocado, just with more calories. And then I want to use the rest of my butter for mine, talk about calories, and the honey. So I think we're just about ready. So just a couple more things. Now I can add my salt and pepper to my pan. And while we're waiting on the toast, I want to get my multivitamins out. I talked about these in my favorites video a bit. So I use 2 in the morning, 2 and then next in the evening. But then for Zach, I always give him 3, which is like the standard adult amount. And you know what? I keep them in the bottle caps so that it's just kind of easier to transport and you don't get food on them or whatever. Back to the toast land. Avocado on 1/2. I need mayonnaise. And then the eggs. So try to aim for like half, so we each get about 1.5 eggs. Sometimes I give him a little bit more. Okay, not clean yet. I'll deal with that later. And there's one more thing that I want to get out of the fridge, which is some watermelon. Zach and I love to have some sort of fruit with our breakfast, and this time of year has just been absolutely amazing for that. Oh yeah, I need to butter my toast. And then I add honey to it. All right. Oh, it's heavy. Oh my gosh. I'm a weakling. And that's breakfast. So now I just want to kind of like set up the table over there, but for now, oh, I need a spoon. For now, I just want to finish up the chai. I'm spilling, guys. There's one thing with being a barista, I definitely still spilled. I definitely was still messy, but it did teach me to be a little bit less clumsy, believe it or not. So life skill. If you ever want to learn how to not spill things, then deal with 200-degree beverages. All right, so let's eat.